President Hakainde Hichilema came out to the public and said, okay, so we have all agreed to amend the constitution. And everyone was shocked, puzzled, like, whose we is he talking about? Then he made similar sentiments on Youth Day when he was in Western Province. He said, so the youths have agreed to amend the constitution. When did he do that consensus? Were you questioned? Were you asked? None of us knew. Okay, he just came out and accused the Zambian citizenry of saying, hey, we've agreed to amend the constitution. And then when everybody started to say, no, we didn't, first of all, what are we agreeing to? He came out and say, but why would you deny, or why would you not want to, why would you deny the draft constitution when you haven't seen the content? And then we came back and said, no, but why do you want us to accept when we still haven't seen the content of the draft constitution? Then from there was that pushback, and then there was that they basically skipped the procedure of how a constitutional amendment is done. They were actually trying to use the shortcut of it. No committee was appointed, none of that. There was no wider consensus, and then there was so much pushback from the civil society organization. The NGOCC actually refused, the church mother bodies denied, the opposition refused, the general public refused, I refused. And the reasons, after so much pushback, the president only to come back and say, the reason you're not allowing me to amend the constitution is because you hate me. And we're like, what do you mean? You haven't really let us, we haven't been involved from the inception. It's basically you guys sat in a room, you figured, okay, these are the clauses we would like to amend in the constitution. Now tell the people that they've agreed to amend the constitution. And when you speak about the chiefs, Chief Mpezeni actually said he wasn't consulted in this draft constitution, so why would he support it? He doesn't even know what's in there. No one has explained it to him. Chief Mabumba made similar sentiments. He said, no, listen, I didn't agree to any of this. So basically the only people who've agreed to constitutional amendment is the UPND party and President Hichilema. Everybody else has just been on the outside. So there hasn't been wider consensus. And from March to now, there hasn't been any consensus. Now this is when they're saying, I think we need a countrywide consensus. Well, with 2 months left before we get into the election year, that's not even possible. There's not enough time to do that. I mean, are you going to consult all the 19.6 million Zambians? It's not going to happen.
We also did have part of the UPND come here, and they sat on that chair and they said when the president highlighted that there are lacunas in the constitution, which means that they can make a decision by amending the constitution and consulting a few stakeholders, but then if people are represented in parliament, which means if that decision is made, it stands for the people.
No, actually, I disagree with that. Yes, here's one thing I'll tell you about representation, okay? There are two types, okay? There's direct and indirect representation, okay? Direct is we ask the people themselves, one by one. We come door to door, okay? Which takes longer, but it's much more effective.
Consult people.
No, they didn't. They didn't. They have to give us proof of them consulting the people. They don't have that proof. Why? Because I know, I'm on the ground, they have not consulted anybody. And how long was the consulting done? Okay? And when did they do it? How did they carry out? How did they carry it out? What was the criteria they used? What was the committee? We need all that information, which they do not have. They don't even have a picture of them doing a door-to-door asking people. Okay? So the thing is this, there is direct in consulting the people through a referendum. You allow people, okay, let's vote if you agree with this. And then there is parliamentary. But here's the thing about parliamentary. When the ruling government already has the numbers in parliament, okay, and then there are now stories, now I'll say this, rumors, and then there are now rumors that you're trying to coerce the opposition to join you to vote for this bill. That's not really representing the people. First of all, you cannot claim you're representing the people. You never asked them. In fact, you tried to woodwink them, and you tried to do a shortcut. You tried to pull a quick one on them to amend the constitution very quickly, because they announced it in March, and they were planning on amending the constitution on July 25th, 2025. That's not even enough time to consult the entire public. But you see, after that failed, then they came back and said, okay, now let's do the right way. Since the shortcut, Zambians were too alert for this one. That's just disingenuous. They have not done any wider consensus. They should prove it to us, because if that was the case, the Constitutional Court would have not ruled the draft Constitution, Bill 7, unconstitutional. So it all falls down to that.
It wasn't completely withdrawn. It has been deferred.
No, it's been deferred in Parliament. It's been deferred. No, here's one thing you need to understand. When the President said, okay, we shall defer Bill 7, the next day the Constitutional Court came out and said, oh, Bill 7 is unconstitutional.